The second thing that I did when I had a competitor is I got threatened. I got super threatened when I met one of my other competitors. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Chido and this is Chido Starts Up. If this is your first time joining us, please make sure to click the subscribe button at the bottom of this page. And if you're coming here again, thanks for joining us. Today I'm going to be speaking about 3 ways that I have dealt with competitors. These have happened over instances where I literally found someone doing the exact same thing as I wanted to do. Yeah, a lot of emotions comes with that, but let's discuss it. So point number 1 is that when I found a competitor, I decided to actually call them and talk to them. You know the Bible verse that speaks about iron sharpening iron? That's what I was thinking at the time. And to be honest, it actually works. So what happened here is that I was building something and then I actually found a competitor that was doing the exact same thing. At first I did get intimidated because theirs looked way more advanced than mine. It looked like they had honestly like all the money, all the resources, all the everything. And I did feel a little bit like, perhaps, there's no point in doing this anymore. But I was like, no, you know what, let me actually just call them and, just find out what I can. I was also quite nervous because usually when you call people about their business, you're not quite sure if they're going to be open about it, if they're going to actually tell you something useful. But I just took a chance. So I called them, we set up a meeting, we actually met in person, which was really nice. Actually what happened is they were pitching their business at a pitch event, and then they asked us to come and watch their pitch and then we could talk afterwards. So I went to the pitch event, I watched them pitch. Their pitch was amazing, and I think their pitch also just allowed us to see how someone who's a few steps ahead of us is doing things. So we learned from their pitch. Then after that we had a discussion where we spoke about our businesses. We spoke about things such as, where they got the idea from or how they thought about it, how they decided to start, how they ran their launch event, how, just literally almost everything. We didn't go into obviously trade secrets and, what tech they're using and all of that, because yeah, I think that's a bit too intrusive. And that's a bit too intrusive, especially when someone has agreed to speak to you. I think it's always best also let them speak. So let them lead the discussion. They'll tell you what they want to tell you. If you have any questions, also you're welcome to ask. But if you notice that they're not so comfortable answering it, or they answer it in a roundabout way, that's perfectly okay, because at least you got to speak to your competitor. So after we spoke to our competitor, we kind of kept a civil relationship. It's not like we spoke all the time. Actually, we don't even speak that much, but whenever we have a question, that avenue is now open for us to ask them, to be like, oh hey, we're facing this issue, how are you facing it? I think it's also good to start creating these types of relationships with your competitors, because there may be something that happens in your industry that affects both of you. So let's take regulation. Let's say some regulation changes and then it severely affects the way you guys do your business. You could call each other up and be like, hey, have you seen that XYZ has put this regulation? How are you thinking of overcoming it? They may be like, oh, we actually spoke to them and they're going to overturn it. Or they may say, why don't we work together and go and talk to them and show them that it's actually going to be more destructive to implement that regulation than they think it will be. So yeah, I mean, that's the first one, to just kind of establish a very civil relationship. You don't have to be best friends and don't expect to be best friends, but just a civil relationship with your competitors. Be comfortable to speak to them, to understand how they're doing things. And yeah, you never know what you learn, and you also never know what you can teach them. The second thing that I did when I met a competitor is that I got so threatened that I was pushed to work even harder. And yeah, I think let me actually just tell the story. So what happened is that I was doing another project and we're working, and then we find a competitor, and that competitor was so aggressive with the way that they were doing business. Actually, aggression is not the right word to use, but they were really driven. They were pushing and we weren't pushing as hard. And I felt so threatened. I was like, oh my gosh, these people are gonna get all the market share, these people are gonna make all the money. There's honestly no space for us anymore. And feeling threatened actually made us, our team, stop working. We literally did not work for over a month because we just didn't know what to do. These people looked like they had everything under control, and we just didn't feel like there was a need for us in the market anymore. And I think it was just a random day, when a thought just crossed my mind, and I just realized that, God wouldn't give us these ideas or the conviction to do something if we're not meant to do it. So at the time, I didn't know my place in that industry, and I'd seen someone else who'd taken their stand in the industry, and I felt threatened. But I was like, nah, we started this, let's finish what we started. So after feeling threatened, we're like, we have to be better. So we improved our service, we improved our product, we improved our, customer care, we improved our internal company culture. We started being more innovative. We had more brainstorming sessions. We literally went on overdrive after that, and we started working really hard. I actually think that now, the scale has tipped a little bit. I wouldn't say we have all the market share, but and I do still consider them a competitor, but they don't threaten us anymore. In as much as we do obviously still keep tabs on them, it's not something that makes us lose sleep or makes us stop working for over a month anymore. And I think that's because we kind of took the challenge head on, and we decided to push through and be better than our competitors. I think that's actually why competition exists, so that you guys can give the market the best product. Because if there's two people competing to be the best, I mean, imagine what the market is going to get. They're going to get amazing stuff. So yeah, point number 2, we felt really threatened, and we decided to improve on all fronts. Point number 3 is actually not about how to respond or react when you find a competitor, but it is how to prepare before you find a competitor. When I was in university, my marketing lecturer taught us this one term, and it stuck. The term is marketing myopia. And the way I interpreted it is that you need to always be aware of your industry. Don't just look at direct competitors, also be aware of indirect competitors. So I'll give you an example. So let's say that I sell sneakers. Sneakers are closed shoes, and sneakers are usually worn when you're going through rough terrain or in cold weather, or they're just closed shoes. They do what closed shoes do. So obviously when I'm looking at my competitors, I'll look at people who sell boots, people who make pumps, people who make even sandals, maybe for summer, because obviously in summer people can wear sneakers or sandals, people who make tackies. I just look at people in that industry. But then, what if one of my indirect competitors decides to venture into sneakers? So let's say people who produce socks. Let's say there's a really popular sock brand, and they're like, you know what? People are buying our socks, and the people who buy our socks also wear sneakers. So why don't we make sneakers as well? Because socks and sneakers go together. And then they enter the sneaker market. And because of their following or their popularity on the sock side, it makes it easy for them to venture into sneakers, and they can easily become a direct competitor overnight. How do you handle something like that? So one of the things I've done is I've read up a lot on marketing myopia, on companies that have kind of fallen because of this, because indirect competitors started venturing into their space and kind of rendered them not popular anymore. And one of the ways that people have overcome this is by researching and kind of keeping tabs on all their competitors, even their indirect competitors. Just understanding how their business is evolving, understanding how the market is evolving, and also allowing themselves to also venture into other spaces. So I think that this one definitely depends on your company, the resources that you have, and just the trajectory that you want to take your business in. But I think it's always useful to just be aware of what's happening in the market and what your consumers are being exposed to. So that's it from me today on Chido Starts Up. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'd love to hear about ways that you have reacted or responded to competition in your space. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.